Now it's time for self mastery. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being the best person in the room. It's all about being better than who you were yesterday. Stop comparing yourself. Stop trying to be somebody else. Focus more on being you, but an elevated version of you. These are the things that you used to do. Categorize that however you want to categorize it. And now separate yourself from that. Separate yourself from that identity. Of course, that's going to be difficult to do, especially when you've been a certain person for so long, but it's necessary if you want to fully change. If you're still looking back at the past and asking yourself all of these questions about you and whether or not it's okay to be a new person, you're going to continue to be the person that you are because you're you're afraid. You're afraid to go beyond what you currently believe to be true. Most people, they want to be somewhere, but they don't end up being where they want to be because they're afraid to be there. They're afraid to manage the new life that they have to take over. The thoughts that you've had about life in the past has to fade away for you to live a different life. You were once this person, and this new person that you are doesn't identify with these things that you once identified with. So it's like you went through some sort of machine, a machine that's cleansed you of faulty ideas that kept you in the position that you were in. Now that you don't think about these things, it's as if you're a different person. It's as if you've never been the person that you once were. Because that person that you once were is so far beyond who you are right now to the point where there's no resemblance. Okay, you might see subtleties, but there's no true knowing or telling that that person is you. The person that you believe yourself to be is just a construction of ideas. That's all it is. It's, you believe you're this person because of these things and these ideas and these structures that you've come up with over the years you've been on this planet. That's all it is. You can overcome that, but in order to overcome that, you have to focus on who you want to be. Take all of your attention off of who you've been and put all of that attention on what you know you're capable of, where you know you belong to be. Surround yourself with the people you want to be around. Structure your life in a way that benefits you, your goals, the people around you. Speak with a passion. Talk about what actually matters to you. Don't entertain information that doesn't help you grow, and figure out what really matters and what doesn't matter. As you figure that out more, as you become to know yourself, your true self, that's when you begin to realize that everything that you believe isn't true. Okay, right now, of course, you trust yourself more than you trust somebody else. So every idea that you have, you're defensive about it. You try to protect it because you trust yourself. You believe that you know yourself. So anything that threatens your ideas in this moment, you're going to attack it. So if somebody has one idea and you have another idea, a lot of times you're going to defend your idea because, for one, you don't want to be wrong. Because if you're wrong, that might hit you at a deep level, your insecurity. You feel some way because you were actually wrong. And now you have to sit with that feeling of being wrong. Nobody wants to be wrong, especially in a world where you're ridiculed for the simplest things. But you have to get beyond all of that, beyond all of these ideas that you have about what life is and how people view you, and being banned from different groups or societies. You know, you gotta get past all of that little stuff. Of course, there's gonna be things in life that you want to be involved in that you don't want to be affected in any type of way. But you have to protect your peace at all costs. You gotta protect that one thing, because if you don't have your peace, what do you really have? You're living a life where so much goes on at once. This person's doing this thing, that person has a conflict with that person for doing that thing, and then there's you over here observing what's happening, and you don't know which side to take, and then you ask yourself, would you take any side? And then there's music in the background playing. So much going on at once. There's so much to life. There's so much to it, and you just gotta overcome it. You gotta overcome everything that seems to be in your way. As a man growing up in an environment like this physical reality, I understand that it's temporary. I also understand that there's people that's lived this life. They've learned a lot from this life. They've moved on from this life. They look back at this life. They ask themselves questions about what they could have done better. And right now, I'm in a state of mind of being the best that I can be. Because I don't want to look back at my life and ask myself, what could I have done better? Nobody wants to be towards the end of their life and ask themselves a question like that. They want to be content with the life that they lived, and of course there's going to be things that pushes them away from the path that they want to be on. You know, life happens, but it's a matter of overcoming life, being bigger than life. Once you're bigger than life and you actually feel bigger than life, and there's nothing that can really phase you. There's nobody that can say anything to knock you off. There's no type of physical ailment that'll restrict your ability to improve. You just have to stay strong in any given moment, and understand that life is bound to change. People are bound to go. You just got to be ready to go when it's time, and do everything that you can prior to going. Just do that for yourself.